Hey, up next on the Marmy Rock Show, it's been a real long time, I think, since we talked to James Murray. James is from the band Ashes to Omens. They're from Athens, Georgia. They've got a self-titled release out. James, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, it's good to talk to you again, and it's been a real long time. And I'm mentioning to folks your band's somewhat new, I'd say about a year old. So why don't you introduce our audience to the band and tell us a little bit about how you formed?
Sure. So we'll be a year old in July of this year. A little bit about us: we're a four-piece. All four of us are from the Athens, Georgia area, with varied areas of music experience. We've all been in several bands before, and I had gotten out of the music industry entirely after I left my previous label, and decided to do something again, and I got the itch to write some more music, and I come across a guy named David, who was a real nice guy, great guitarist, and him hit it right off, and from there all the pieces fell quickly in place, and before I knew it, we were in the studio cutting a single.
So it looks like, the album's fresh out. It looks like you just had a CD release party, about a week ago or so. Tell us about how that evening went.
It turned out amazing. It was one of the best shows we've had as a band. Since we've come together, we started playing live shows late last year, and then this year we've been playing a lot of shows in and around all over the Athens area, all over Atlanta and Georgia, and then we had the CD release party. Place was totally packed out. We nearly sold out of all of our CDs that night that we brought with us. Totally unexpected, so that was kind of nice. Blew up an amp on stage. We had never did that before, so that was a fun and exciting adventure, and one of the greatest compliments that any musician really has ever received. By the time we got to the final song of the night, we didn't even have to sing it. The crowd was singing it to us, and that was just a thrilling moment for all of us, because we felt like all our hard work was paying off.
Hey, man, congratulations for all that. That sounds like it was an amazing night. Now, tell us a little bit more about the new record. I said it's a self-titled record. And where was it recorded and produced?
Sure. So we actually recorded it at a place called Amplify Studios out of Athens. It is a studio that is owned by a nonprofit called Nucci Space. There's a gentleman there by the name of Chris Byron, who is the engineer that runs a lot of that, and basically what it is it's a Nucci Space in and of itself is a non-profit company that supports musicians that deal with anxiety and depression and things like that, and they allow them to come there and rent space so that their bands can have a place to practice. And Nucci's actually purchased this studio, which was Amplify. I want to say it was several years ago, and it was pre-rigged, pre-set up. It used to be an old recording studio for another company. They outfitted with new equipment, and now it's a place where musicians can get affordable engineering, affordable recording, so that they can get themselves out there. Now, the album itself, it was produced by Proclamation Recordings, a guy named Austin Dykes out of Atlanta. And to my understanding, it was his first full album he had ever mixed down and mastered and produced. So that's kind of what he did that. But the album in and of itself, it's a self-titled album. We initially was going to put our first album out and have it be a sort of a concept album, and we eventually just threw that idea out the window and said, you know what, let's write some stuff that we can all relate to on some sort of level. And it just kind of happened. 8 tracks just kind of came out.
So you guys have a nice music video out to the song Screws. I've watched that a number of times now. Tell us a little bit about that music video and kind of a little bit of the storyline behind it.
Well, that song was actually the first song, the single that we had put together. And I've been pretty outspoken about my issues with anxiety and a panic disorder and depression that I deal with. And I originally wrote that song while I was having an anxiety attack to just try to find a way to deal with it. And I was like, well, maybe let's try something different this time. Let's just try, focusing and writing while this is going on. And so I started writing, and I had actually just recently been diagnosed with cancer, thyroid cancer. And so I was dealing with, everything that goes along with that. And so I put pen to paper in the middle of an anxiety attack, and the Screws is what ended up coming out of it. And we were approached by Halo Union Productions to put together a music video after we cut the track. And everything that you see, in that video is all, everything that they did, everything that they put together, on the production side, the feeling and the idea around that music video was all, all their idea. We give them completely free reign to do whatever they felt comfortable with, and so far it's, it's our most popular track, so, to say the least.
That's a fascinating story behind that, how that song was written, man. I appreciate you sharing that with us.
No worries.
Another tune I wanted to ask you about as I made it through the record I kind of liked a little bit was Demon in a Bottle, so tell me about that one.
When we wrote that song, it was kind of, I was kind of recovering from, the cancer thing and the surgery thing, and I unfortunately because of all that, and because of anxiety and depression, had kind of sort of turned to alcohol to offset that, and so Demon in a Bottle was kind of about, me facing life's issues head on without turning to alcohol, without using that as a crutch, and actually, facing that, recognizing, that that's a problem in and of itself, that you shouldn't rely on that sort of thing, and that you should, really pick your own stuff up, or at least seek help, from friends or family that's there to support you, rather than this demon in a bottle.
I appreciate, man, all those great personal stories that manifest themselves in your music so well. Now, for folks listening that want to pick up some of your merch, where can folks go to buy? You got CDs and T-shirts available online somewhere, don't you?
We do. Yeah, you can any outlet that has digital media, iTunes, Spotify, Reverb Nation, Facebook. You can find us all there. Amazon Music, Google Play. All of our music is there. Our merchandise is sold typically through Facebook, or you can get any of our shirts at a show, or if somebody wants a T-shirt or album, all they have to do is just shoot us an email to ashes2omens@gmail.com, and we'll work it out and ship it out to them.
Now, a couple quick more things before I let you go here. You're just about to turn a year old as a band. What's the next big step for your band? Is it radio play, touring, videos? What's the next important thing for you guys to do?
The next biggest thing really is just to get this album out there. We got a copy of the album over to Bulldog 93.3, who is wanting to give it some airplay. So the goal is to get that out there, just play more shows. We've recently gotten booked really in numerous locations across the Southeast. The album really kind of took off for us a little bit. We recently was lettered as number one in Athens for hard rock. We're 21 in the region. So the goal is to get ourselves out there and play more shows in the region. So now we're booked in Charleston at the Sparrow in July. We're booked at Louisville and at Louisville, Kentucky, a venue out there in August. And then we're continuing to play, Georgia venues and, South Carolina venues throughout the summer. So it's really just, getting it out there, pushing that album, and getting people an opportunity to hear what we sound like and get to know us.
So, hey, one more thing before I let you go. Like, a lot of albums have a secret little gem on them, and obviously the tune Screws, I think, was one the band was probably pretty high on that you released first. Is there, like, one tune that when you look at the record, you think, this could be the sleeper tune, that like the one that people haven't picked up on yet?
I think there's two on that album. We initially, when we wrote that album, we assumed that the Screws was going to be the lead tune on that, but everybody that's gotten the album have said that Prayers for the Weak and One More Day has really resonated with a lot of people. So those have kind of come out of nowhere. We definitely wasn't expecting One More Day to be something that people said, holy cow, check this out. And we think that those two might be probably One More Day being that lead one, and then follow-up being Prayers for the Week.
Well, you know what we're going to do, man? We're going to make sure we play those two tunes for our audience tonight so they can get a good listen to them. And once again, the band is Ashes to Omens. They're out of Athens, Georgia. And James Murray's been with us. And, hey, man, I'm really glad to talk to you again. It's been a long time, and I appreciate you joining us on the show.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.